Good afternoon and welcome to the Jay and Susie Gouge Performing Arts Center's GPAC Talkback Thursday. I'm Amy Miller, Director of Programming and Education here at the GPAC. And joining me today is David Middleton. Thanks for being here, David.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be here. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, we're excited to have you on.
Thanks.
So our audience will be joining us over the next 30 minutes on Facebook Live. And we want to introduce you all to David Middleton. He's one of our wonderful agents and managers in the performing arts field that we work with. And he is representing Boston Brass. And we've been working with him for the last couple of months, maybe even 3 months now, yeah?
It almost feels more than that, but yeah, it's been great.
It's been a project, as we get ready for our performance this coming Sunday evening. So Boston Brass will be performing live from Michigan. I'll let you, David, tell a little bit about that.
So as Amy mentioned, this is, I think, a unique opportunity in that the group is actually performing live and in real time for you on Sunday evening. A lot of live streaming is pre-recorded and so on, which, again, terrific stuff coming out of that aspect. But I think what makes this special is the guys are going to be there performing as you're watching them. So it's kind of a neat event.
Yeah. So they'll be traveling to Michigan. They're actually en route.
They are. That's partly why I'm here. We were hoping that one of the members would be able to chime in, but today is Thursday. They're on their way or arriving in Western Michigan to perform at the venue. They're going to do some rehearsing. Again, they've not seen each other for many months. So we all agreed it was a good idea to have them arrive a few days early to do some rehearsing, make sure their program is up to snuff. And so that starts this evening. Tomorrow is also more rehearsing. They're going to record an educational video as well, which will be shared across the country. Saturday night is kind of tech sound check, and then they go live Sunday evening, 8 o'clock Eastern time.
Wonderful. So that's 7 p.m. our time in Alabama, Central Time, and for them in Michigan. So to let you all know that are joining us, Sunday evening, 7 p.m. Central Time, live performance with Boston Brass. David Middleton, their agent and manager, is here with us today on this talkback. And you've been part of our performing arts field for quite a while, for various fields. I've known each other a little bit here and there, and I know you've worked with Christy Cox, our executive director. Why don't you tell our audience a bit about you as an agent manager, your trajectory in the arts?
Yeah, of course. And again, every time I stop to think about how long I've been doing this, it's kind of remarkable. Coming up on almost 30 years. I think I'm 28 years doing this as my chosen career. Some brief background: I have music degrees from University of Denver in jazz saxophone performance, and I have a master's degree from Manhattan School of Music in classical saxophone performance. My first job finishing my master's work was at Columbia Arts Management, one of the biggest, greatest agencies in the world, and it was somewhat akin to receiving my doctorate degree in a way. It was like performing arts university. It was such intense, high-level, amazing artists and ensembles and orchestras that we were all looking after and working with. So I started at the very bottom of the totem pole there, but I recognized pretty quickly that it was something I was really enjoying. I dabbled a little bit in arts management and some kind of backstage production stuff during my college years. So I did enjoy it, and I thought this was going to be a good transition for me. But again, just the privilege of working with such groups like the Boston Symphony Orchestra, Philadelphia Orchestra, the Royal Concertgebouw, artists like Kyung-Wha Chung and Christian Zimmermann, the Beaux-Arts Trio, St. Lawrence String Quartet. I could go on and on and on, but again, just very people that at the top of their game, household names in the classical music world, in the arts world, and so it was very intense. It was a terrific learning experience. So I spent my first 5 years there in my career, and then again took all that experience to other companies that I had been to. Most recently, I ended up at the Herbert Barrett Management Agency, working there mostly with the ensembles. One of my good friends, Rob Robbins, he and I worked there together. And then, boy, I'm going to forget the year. I think it was 2000. 2006 or 2008, he and I left the Barrett agency to start our own company called Alliance Artist Management. And we primarily just brought the ensembles with us that we had been managing and looking after for a while. So we were together at Alliance Artist Management for about 8 or 9 years. And then in December of 2015, I made the leap into hanging my own shingle out for my own company called Middleton Arts Management. My idea for my roster was to go small. Essentially, I liked the idea of working with a very small, very elite roster of artists. I have 5, sometimes 6 ensembles that I look after. And my hope for that roster is that I'm working with people who are doing things that are unique on the planet, that I can give them as much managerial and agent attention that I'm able to give them, but also recognizing the three-way partnership between artist, manager, and presenting organization like the Goose Center. And that by going to a smaller roster, that I could give more attention to creating projects and commissioning with the ensembles, working more closely with the presenters to make sure they are all taken care of as well. So, and so far so good. Needless to say, up until this past spring, things are going really well.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll dig into that in just a little bit for sure. So those of the folks that are joining us might not know exactly what a roster is or how it works. A lot of this is behind the scenes, right? So our audiences come to the show and they see what we present on the stage and the artists, and they see videos of the artists and albums of the artists they listen to beforehand. But there are a lot of different pieces that go into the final moment when an artist actually can walk onto the stage. There are a lot of pieces. It's a puzzle in order to put that all together. Can you speak a little bit to that and what role you play in that process?
Again, throughout my career, I've kind of taken part in various steps. And, now that I have my own company, I'm essentially a one-person show. And I do everything from artist visas to taxation to itinerary work to contract work to publicity. I essentially am wearing all of those hats, but it's something I enjoy doing. And that's, again, the reason I decided to just break out and go out on my own. But yeah, to the steps that are taken, sometimes literally 2 years in advance, we just start discussing ideas and projects with presenting organizations. And it's a process that's really fun to watch as it progresses to the night of the performance. And all the steps that are taken that are necessary. For a foreign ensemble to come over, just simply getting the necessary visa for them is just a lifetime of work, it feels like, oftentimes. But again, what you witness as an audience is always our goal, and making sure that what you're experiencing is just impeccable. But yes, there's a ton of work that goes on behind the scenes to make those things happen, both on management side and of course on presenter side too.
Yeah. And I used to be an agent as well. And so having seen and experienced that piece of it, and then the booking side and the presenting side, we all really have to work together. And now we're learning how to work together in all new ways, in different medium, virtual medium, there's contract language, all of that, how we're representing artists, how we're honoring their work in virtual spaces is shifting, and we're having to be aware of. So there's a lot of pivoting and shifting going on. Can you please speak to that? And maybe we could even talk about Boston.
Where do I begin? How much time do we have?
I know, it's a lot. Maybe specifically the Boston Brass program, because I know that's been a long monthly.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, as Amy mentioned, there's, we're as agents and managers and artists, of course, we're all kind of pivoting to what we all are counting on to be a temporary new reality. So this Boston Brass project really kind of had its birth back in May. Speaking to the members of the Boston Brass, they came to me with an idea where, they recognized after their almost 35 plus year career that they've had, that presenting organizations are also really feeling the effects of the coronavirus, and not being able to present live performances, not being able to reach out to their patrons. And so they came to me with a project that was both a performance, but also an educational package. And so I just started talking to my client friends, including the Goose Center and Chris and Amy. And the idea was that the guys would find a venue where they could actually travel to safely, to do a performance that would go out in real time and live streamed. And again, this was back in May and June we were talking about this. So we figured that by the fall things might be in decent enough shape that they would hopefully do this. It was a roll of the dice, and of course it looking like everything has come together and it's going to pay off. But
so good.
They're yeah. So but every step along the way, we knew there were going to be potential circumstances beyond our control, but we kept the faith. And again, Sunday night is just going to be phenomenal. But again, Boston Brass recognized again that presenters also needed content. They knew that a lot of presenters were going to be going to virtual series and not being able to present live performances. And so again, my thought was that we try to do something that is a little bit more special in that it is a real-time performance, and that while you're watching this performance, these gentlemen will be at the Ramsdale Theater in Michigan performing at the very same time that you're watching and listening to them. Backing up, if you don't mind, Amy, I'll talk a bit about my history with Boston Brass. Again, they've been at it for 35 years, and I've been working with them for, I think, 25 of those. The very first time I experienced them, they were performing in a tiny church up here in Cape Cod. And I drove out. I live in Rhode Island, by the way, and I work from my home office here. And so I drove out to go check them out just on a tip. And having a music background and having that experience and from Columbia artists and so on, I knew what sounded good and I knew what looked good and what it takes. But there's like this third element that sometimes escapes people, and that there's the non-musical aspect, the way they interact with the audience, the way they carry themselves, the charm and the energy that exudes from the stage that goes beyond just the phenomenal music that they were playing. And they had it all from the beginning. So it took very little convincing after hearing them perform and seeing how they talked with the audience, and even after the concert, seeing how friendly they were and so willing to give their time and sign autographs and CDs and so on. It was an easy decision deciding to work with these guys. Brass quintets, it's pretty traditional genre. Of course, everyone will know the Canadian brass, perhaps Dallas Brass, Empire Brass. There are a handful of them out there that have done amazing work. And Boston Brass, I believe, is one of those that's at the top of their game. The reason they fit my roster of ensembles well is that I think that they offer something that no other ensemble, especially no other brass ensemble, is offering out there. They own their own music. They do most of their own arrangements. They commission a lot of new works. They perform as a quintet. They perform jazz. They do collaborations. They perform with orchestras. They have a terrific brass and organ program that they do. But beyond all that, they're also really phenomenal educators. And in previous instrument sponsorship deals, they were working with Jupiter Band Instruments. They were their their educational ambassadors. Right now, they're part of the Yamaha family of instruments. And again, they're educational ambassadors for Yamaha. So their commitment and the creation of their educational programs is almost as important to them as being on stage and performing. Of course, on Sunday evening, you will just see the fruits of their efforts and the music that they'll be playing for you. Another thing that I think is really appealing about Boston Brass is that programs are generally, they offer something for everyone. So again, you're going to experience works by Ginastera and Piazzolla, some Duke Ellington, some jazz standards, some really familiar classical stuff, and again, all delivered with Boston Brass's really phenomenal audience rapport and charm. So it's going to be a real treat.
That's wonderful. Oh, thanks for the background. I know you had been working with them a while, but that's
Yeah.
really exciting that you've seen them and their journey along the way.
On my roster, they're the ensemble that I've been working with the longest, for sure. Yeah.
Wonderful. And so much of this field and working with artists is all about relationships, we all say.
It is, yeah, no question.
Yeah.
And again, these members, I know them as friends. We've gone kind of beyond the manager, artist relationship. I know their birthdays, I know their families, I know their kids. It's like, we are really close in that way. So it's a pleasure working with them. And they're just very, very, again, setting the music aside, I mean, there's no question what they do from the stage and musically. They're all virtuosos, phenomenal at what they do, but they're just genuinely humble and nice guys and really easy to work with, which again it makes my job easier.
Yeah, it's completely ideal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We all love that.
No
And like
question.
you said, that reads on the stage, right? So all of us know when we feel a personal connection to an artist on a stage, or when you've had just an awe moment where
Yeah.
you leave the performance and you're lifted up not only by the music or the dance or
Right.
the theatrical experience or whatever multimedia experience you've had, but also by that energy, that affect, that personability of it. So we're excited to meet them actually Sunday evening. And can you tell how many there are? There's
It's a quintet. Yep. 2 trumpets, trombone, tuba, and French horn.
Great.
So yeah, just kind of the traditional brass quintet instrumentation.
It's so great. And I really appreciate that you brought in their commitment to all ages and to having a vast variety of music that they present. So to all of you listening, all your family members, it's great for all ages. And a lot of their shows are for family programming, right? Or are at festivals and things like that.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, they do lots of terrific holiday programming. Again, as a quintet, they've got this terrific big band show that they do with remarkable holiday tunes by the Stan Kenton band that they've done some old Stan Kenton band charts. But they really their appeal is as broad as can be. Again, from small children, people of all ages.
Yeah, that's great, and it's wonderful. Also, a lot of artists in our field and that are touring, especially to performing arts centers, do focus on education, but not all. And so it's really special, especially over decades that they've committed to arts education. And we as a performing arts center here in Auburn are very committed to that. We consider our venue and our space a classroom, right? That whatever age you are when you enter that space, it's an experience to engage, it's to have conversation, it's to dig in with all of your senses. So since we can't do that right now, we're really trying to find alternate ways to do that virtually. We at the Gouge Center just began our fall K through 12 virtual school performances. We had one yesterday, and we had almost 50 classrooms from around the state joining us. So we appreciate that. Can you tell a little bit about what they'll be doing this weekend? And how
again, the educational aspect, not only for Boston Brass, but I think all ensembles being able to bring that to your community is super important. This kind of love of music and appreciation starts at a very young age. And where you see school music programs being cut for various reasons, I think it's just important to really champion that aspect of an artist's career. And again, Boston Brass, in my experience, they're just really phenomenal at doing it. Again, they offer programs that are K through 12, but they also have recognized other kind of aspects of the education, things that maybe are not normally taught at music conservatory and so on, but they've really gotten into music entrepreneurship and also how to create a successful chamber ensemble and touring. It's like kind of the business side of things beyond just the music making, again, which I think is super important, invaluable information for young musicians, either soloists or ensembles that are trying to make a go at it in this in the music world.
Yeah.
So for Boston Brass, for this particular project, they will be recording a 30-minute workshop that is called Rewired. And the basic gist, they'll go through various topics about how, as an individual musician or as a chamber musician, you can kind of go back to the basics of rehearsal and improving yourself. So they offer various techniques on how to accomplish quick results by essentially peeling back some of the things you've learned and kind of relearning things in a different way. So that's just going to be that's a 30-minute workshop video, which will be recorded tomorrow morning. We were hoping that we would somehow be able to get that out to everyone before the live performance, but it will be shared with all the contributing presenters on this project in the days just after the performance, so that then places like the Gouge Center and others across the country can share that video with whomever they'd like in their own music community, music programs at schools, high schools, universities, and so on. Again, Boston Brass recognizing that a lot of in-person teaching is just not happening now. And I speak from my own experience. My kids are both in the band and they do not have any of that programming right now because of the virus. So giving teachers and band directors across the country this kind of content, I think, again, is just invaluable and helps keep kids and students engaged.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going through that same situation here at Auburn.
Yeah.
Our music department unfortunately had to halt all ensembles, all gatherings this
Yeah.
fall. So they're really focusing on individual practice. We've been sharing master classes with them.
Right.
So this will be wonderful to receive from you all. And we already have plans to send it out to music educators, high school and university music educators all across the state of Alabama. So we're excited to get that out. Do you also want to mention what is extra cool, I think, about Sunday evening's performance is that you have partnered with presenters all over the country, and that was the project. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, again, the when we first talked about this idea, we were just kind of trying to find a presenter who might be able to present it, but of course that was not going to be, I guess, financially feasible in the end. So I had the idea to kind of cast a wide net, and my goal, which I didn't quite achieve, but my goal was to try to reach at least one presenting organization in each of the 50 states. To match the title of this project, which is, Arts Across America. But we have over 25 contributing presenters, people, organizations from Santa Fe, New Mexico, up to Troy, New York, down to Auburn, Alabama, and in Wausau, Wisconsin, and everywhere in between, Oregon. So coast to coast, there will be a very wide audience that will be tuning in with, along with your community on Sunday night to see and enjoy this performance. So a lot of work, but again, it's I think a good thing that's come together.
Yeah, well, I'll have to take screens of where we're at across the country. It's exciting. It's a moment that you're bringing everybody together, and we didn't have access to that beforehand, right? It was them touring to one space. So this
exactly, yeah. So in a way where it's kind of we're blessed that they're able to do that during this time, kind of reach a really vast audience of interested people.
It's exciting, all in the same time. Yeah. Silver linings. There are some beautiful silver linings that
there are occasionally some, yes.
Yeah. What keeps you going, David? What is inspiring you? We're all passionate about the arts. We're committed to this. We believe that it feeds all of us. It feeds humans.
No question. I think it's easy to slip into a place of despair, and I think we all have those moments. But what I am certainly experiencing is that audiences are, I think, more eager than ever to get back out and get into a live performance situation. It's almost one of those things where you want the thing you can't have, and so that the desire to be in a live space like the Goosh Center and to be experiencing live performance, it's something we need. And so I know because of that the arts will bounce back. It's going to be a little bit of a long road. I think everyone recognizes that, but it's what keeps me going. I mean, the inspiration of the ensembles that I manage and I work with keeps me going. And of course, there's give and take there too. I work not only with Boston Brass, but the other groups on my roster. I am working with them on other projects to help keep them inspired, keep them exposed, keep them viable as things are mostly dark across the country and the world.
Right.
But again, I'm optimistic that things are, this is temporary. And again, we're living in a temporary reality, but that things will bounce back. And I genuinely think that'll be bounce back for the better, because people will just more recognize that this is, again, something they need in their lives that they're not able to get. But once things are better and places are safe to travel to and to be in, that audiences are going to come out in droves.
Yes, and that it's special and that it's needed and it's vital.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, and also to our creative processes and experiences. Yeah. We have just a few minutes, but if you could talk just a little bit about the creative process, maybe with Boston Brass, maybe with other artists, and how that has shifted a little bit or a lot during these times.
Yeah, again, so ensembles in particular, I think soloists perhaps have it a little bit easier in that they're on their own and they can do easy live streaming and they can travel. When you're an ensemble, just immediately it's difficult to get together to be able to perform together. So that was an immediate challenge, and of course I'm still experiencing that. One of my ensembles is called A Far Cry. It's a wonderful string orchestra from Boston, but this is 18 players, and the prospects of 18 individuals getting together in an enclosed space and performing together is just many months away at this point still. We're working on ideas with the hope that by late winter, early spring of 2021, that orchestra will be able to do some more live performances in safe and limited capacities. I have ensembles that I manage in Europe. The Dublin Guitar Quartet is in Ireland. Ireland is a little bit in better shape than we are here, so that ensemble has been able to actually get together and practicing the same kind of masks and safety protocols, but they can perform for live audiences now. Capella Pretensis, another ensemble I work with, is an early music a cappella ensemble, and again, they've performed at festivals in August, and they've been doing radio programs and other things. So again, there are signs that things are coming back to life, but my responsibility over the past several months has essentially just been to make sure that my ensembles, even though they're not performing live and there's not an income stream and so on, just make sure that they are maintaining their viability and maintaining their exposure via social media or doing pre-recorded performances, things like that. So that's really where my focus has shifted to this at this point.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, they're very lucky to have you. We're lucky to have you in our
Oh,
field.
thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, just doing the work, just really trying to continue to pivot, right? That's our word of the year.
Yeah, pivot, yeah.
I mean, it's
To say the least, yeah.
sustainable options as well of what we're learning during this time. So
True.
to remind our audience and the folks that may see this video over the next few days, we're encouraging you all to tune in Sunday evening, this coming Sunday, 7:00 p.m. Central Time here in Alabama, for Boston Brass and their performance from Manistee, Michigan, where they'll be performing. The program will be approximately how long? Do you know?
A little bit over an hour. Again, for safety precautions, we decided an intermission was going to be necessary. So we had an hour of music prepared for the group, and talking about maybe an hour and 15, hour and 20.
Great.
But I encourage you to tune in. It's really going to be a special event. The guys are really phenomenal at what they do. The music will be terrific, and just the way that the audience will experience their energy and their joy as they perform for you is going to be really something you don't want to miss.
Oh, we're so excited, and we're excited to be one of many performing arts centers around the country that are tuning in. So to let you all know, it's free. It's free to register, but you do need, again, to register on our website. You go to gougeceNterTickets.auburn.edu. You can also call our box office at 334-844-8497 to reserve a ticket. It's really easy. You just reserve, and then you'll get a link to log on Sunday evening. I also want to mention to everyone, we have another performance right now that is taking place until Sunday. It is part of our partnership with CMS, Chamber Music Society of Lincoln Center, and we have a pre-recorded performance that's brilliant. It's a beautiful curated piece that you can also register for on our website, gougeceNterTickets.auburn.edu, and also see that through Sunday evening. So thank you so much.
This was fun.
Yeah, and we're excited to hopefully in the future see you again.
I hope so. Thank you, everyone.
Sunday. Okay. Thanks.